The one thing that I've mastered in this lockdown is laziness. I'm not proud about it, but yeah. Anyways, I welcome you to this video series which is based on my cycling trip from Bombay to Goa. And this will be based morely on the routes which I took and the experiences I've had and my learnings on the way. So when you say Bombay to Goa on a cycle, feels sort of very hard, but I can assure you, yeah, it is hard, but then it is kind of doable. And my intention of making this video series is to actually help people who are actually planning or thinking to do this. And in case if someone gets inspired to do this trip, I'll be very happy about it. So I started from my house at Kalyan and planned to reach Alibag, which was around 90 kilometers from my place, and for the day one. I was supposed to start at 6 AM but started at 7 AM. That's how punctual I am. 1 hour in the morning for cycling is very, very precious, which you will learn when you go on the ride. So after reaching Shilfata, which is like 19 kilometers from my place, I realized that I haven't taken any picture of the start of the trip, and that's when I took this picture. So this is technically the first picture of the trip. I then proceeded to Nerul. Just ahead of the D.Y. Patil Stadium, there is a left which actually starts a highway to go to Uran. And that is when the traffic kind of subsided, and then I thought to start taking videos, and I mounted my mobile on my mobile mount which I had got for the handle of my cycle. But then this came out, and yeah, I'm not trying any angles over here, but what happened is the mount was not that strongly fitted to the handle and it was falling down, so it's actually capturing everything below the handlebar. Yeah, but gradually I do rectify it, but the video quality doesn't improve much. So with a disappointed mobile setup, I made my way to Karanja, from where I had to catch a boat to Revas. When I reached Karanja and I was cycling my way to the jetty, a man on a cycle came near me and asked me from where I was. I said I was coming from Kalyan. I said, oh. Then he asked me, where are you going? So I said, Goa. And he was like, oh. And then he asked me, are you doing a solo trip? I said yes. And he was like, oh. He was surprised, but none of the O's were there. I just added it. So anyways, so he was interested, he was quite surprised, and he told me that he himself was a cyclist and he has done some long distance cycling trips in India. So he told me to come to his house, and I said obviously no. Because I said at 12:30 I had a jetty from Karanja to Revas and it was almost 12. So I said no, I would be rather taking the jetty. And he said that I mean, I didn't know the time at 12:30. He knew it because he stays there. So he said the jetty is 12. The boat is at 12:30 and it's just 12. So you might as well come home and get refreshed a bit and then go. I mean, I reluctantly said yes, but obviously it kind of feels weird to go to a random person's house. So, but I still went. When I went there, he gave me nice towels, fresh towels, and a soap, and he told me to kind of freshen up. And cycling on the highway, because from Kalyan to Karanja, it was all highway, so it kind of your face gets dusty and smoke and it's irritating. So it's a good refreshing act to actually wash your face and with soap. So yeah, I did it and I was feeling good. And then he told his wife to make some poha, which when I came out was ready almost, and I ate the poha. I have to admit, it was one of the best pohas I have ever had. This is that poha. After finishing the poha, he came to the jetty to send me off, and before coming with me, he had called his friend who was standing beside me. He called his friend and told him to go to the jetty, and in case the boat is leaving, just tell them to stop because one person is coming. After landing at the Rewas Jetty, there is a road that takes you to the main road to Alibag. And that road is, at the start the road is not that good, it has a lot of bad patches, but then eventually it kind of becomes smoother. And when you come on the main road, this is the main road to Alibag, this is very smooth and you can cycle effortlessly. I reached Alibag by 3 PM and could have proceeded to Kashid, which was 30-32 kilometers from there, but I thought ki why to stretch on the first day itself? What if I couldn't get up the other day and cycle? So I was a bit skeptical to go to Kashid, and hence I stopped in Alibag. And again, I hadn't eaten anything strong apart from the poha which I had at Kenny's place. So from 7 AM in the morning, since I left home, I hadn't eaten anything substantial. So I thought of stopping the day, and I headed to Sai Palace bar and restaurant to quench my thirst and satisfy my hunger. I then checked into Hotel Guruji near the beach. It's simple and small hotel, but charged 1200 rupees a night and 1500 in case of couple. Alibag has a lot of options in terms of stay, so just go around and you'll definitely get some cheaper options. Rest of the day went in watching people play cricket, watching a mural of a fisherman catching a fish with a net half its size, watching the sun watch the moon, and finally watching the day end. The next morning I started cycling at 8:30, a good 2.5 hours late. So see, I had planned to start cycling every day at 6 AM. But in reality, when it was 6, the daylight was not out. So it took around 6:30. So I gradually planned to start the trip at 6:30, but that too didn't happen. It was winter and the mornings were chilled, so I got lazy. And as I told earlier, the cycling in the morning is very easy than cycling in the afternoon or evening. So it's better that you wake up and you make sure that you leave as early as possible. After leaving from Alibag, I headed to Nagaon beach. That's me without a full beard, and that's me entering the Nagaon beach. So next time when you're planning to come to Alibag, just slide down to Nagaon beach, as it's very close by and it's a little better. I think it's better than the Alibag beach, definitely. After Nagaon beach comes Revidanda beach in the same line but a few kilometers away, I think 7-8. There are 2 entry points to Revidanda beach, and the one I'm using right now is not any of them. So this is besides this cut is towards the end of the beach, and it's literally deserted. So you can have a quickie and no one will realize, or no one will interfere. But the birds might feel or may get traumatized. Behind the birds you can see the Revidanda fort. Till Revidanda, your cycling will be very easy, and you may feel that wow, this will be a cakewalk, but no. But then this bridge comes up, and then things change. It does. So see, I don't know if you've noticed, but right ahead there's a mighty mountain, and after this bridge, the ride starts to become tougher. And trust me, it's just the start. So this is a bridge we crossed, and now we move to Agardanda. This whole route is around 40 kilometers and is exactly a trailer of what lies ahead. So when I was riding this route, I thought this is how tough it's gonna get, but I was clearly wrong. And if you have a single gear cycle like I did, then best of luck. But on the plus side, this route goes along the Arabian Sea, and hence there are a lot of scenic places on the way. You can stop and click pictures and just sit and relax. It's beautiful. So on this route, you get the Kashid beach, which is quite a famous beach amongst the Mumbaikars. There are a few shady areas at the beach, so if you're just tired of cycling, you can just sit there with your cycle and relax. The road besides the beach is also beautiful with trees on both the sides. The next beach after Kashid is the Murud beach. Murud kind of gives the Goa vibe, little Goa vibe. So the road through which we go has a beach on one side and restaurant and bars on one side. So you can literally see the beach while sitting in the restaurant. So now as we are following the horse, let me tell you the first and foremost thing which you need to do when planning a cycling trip. First and foremost thing which I did was to plan the route. I wanted to actually create a framework as to how I will be cycling, from what point and till what point will I be going, and what will be the path I'll choose. So I was clear that I wanted to see as many beaches as possible. So I chose the coastal roads. So when I say coastal road, I just mean the small roads which are closest to the beach. The real coastal road is, I think it's State Highway 4. It starts from Dapodi, I guess. There's a road called Coastal Road. So I'm not talking about that road. I'm talking about all the roads that are way closest to the coast. This will take a lot of time. It easily crosses 600 kilometers till you reach Panji, but it is worth it. It's very tough, but it's worth it. And the other thing which you need to do is zoom in on the route which you have fixed and write down all the villages and town names which comes on the way, so that you have a mental picture as to if you're going on the right path. And it's easy to ask for directions for a place which is closer to where you are than asking for a place which is famous but 100 kilometers away. And other important thing which you have to do is download the offline maps for the route you're going, because there will be a lot of stretches where there will be no internet and there will be no person around. For kilometers there will be no one around. So it's better to download all the offline maps so that you can at least see where you are and where you have to go. So yeah, that is one necessary thing you have to do. Alright, continuing with the ride. This is a Janjira beach. The starting point of this beach is where you get the jetty to visit the famed Murud Janjira fort. So here is Janjira beach. This is the Murud Janjira fort, and this is the jetty from where you get a boat to go to the fort. See, this map also shows that you get a boat to Dighi from here, which is not true, and you need to go to Agardanda to get a boat to Dighi. When I reached Agardanda, I saw a vessel standing and I was happy that wow. But when I went to the ticket counter, they said that the vessel is not functioning because of low tide and you have to wait for some time. And the wait almost went for 1 hour, and around 6:30 a smaller boat came and we all went in that. The time was 6:30, the boat had just left Agardanda. It had to reach Dighi, which takes around 5 minutes I guess. And from there I had to go to Divyagar, which is 15 kilometers. So I only had, I think, hardly 15 20 minutes of sunlight, and I had to reach I had to cycle 15 kilometers. So I'll continue the story in the next episode. For this episode I'll end it over here. Next episode will be released very soon, and thank you for watching the highlight video and liking it. And do like this video too, and share if you know friends who like such videos, and yeah, definitely subscribe. Apart from that, if you want to support me, if you really like my videos and if you want to support me, you can go down to the InstaMojo link which I've put in my description, and yeah, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, thank you and have a safe life till then.